Hello everyone and welcome back. Please excuse the late hour of this particular video, but I really need to share this with you. And this is a video about the Baker Act and just how ridiculously easy it is not only to get Baker Acted, but to get stuck too. So here's the scenario. We got a call from a family. They had a family member, elderly lady in her late 60s, and she had been having, frankly, some issues with a neighbor who was not a particularly nice individual. And in order to teach her a lesson and let her know that, well, he's the boss, he figured he'd call the police and make up some ridiculous story about the fact that she had threatened him. And the police came down, and instead of doing their job, and I hate to say that because I'm a fan of our men and women who wear the uniform, and I was prosecutor for a long time, you know that, and I also have a retired cop on staff. But this was really shameful what happened here. And the police went to talk to her. She denied anything, and they Baker Acted her anyway on the grounds, on the allegations, the unfounded, uncorroborated allegations that she had threatened a neighbor. And they took her to a facility, and as soon as the facility figured out she had health insurance, and very good health insurance, not only did they keep her, they filed to extend her detention. And so, every once in a while, I get a facility that wants to test my mettle, that wants to test my team's mettle. Now, as I've talked about before, I was a prosecutor for a number of years. I've tried a lot of cases, a lot of jury trials, and I've put some very unsavory individuals in prison. I've tried everything from petty theft to capital murder. So I'm not afraid of the courtroom, and neither are the other lawyers in my office, and we will go and fight, and we keep fighting until we get somebody out. So this was possibly the fastest Baker Act hearing I've ever been in. I don't think that we were in court maybe a total of 10 minutes. The doctor that testified, I don't even think her testimony was longer than 3 minutes. That's how pathetically poor this entire case was. And so the facility filed to keep her. We had a hearing, and the doctor testified, and the only thing she could testify about is the fact that our client didn't want to take medications that would have basically rendered her catatonic, okay? And that is her right, not to take medications that would render her catatonic. There was not one single shred of evidence, not even the scummy neighbor who made this BS allegation against our client came in to testify to tell the magistrate she threatened him. Zero evidence that she was a danger to herself or anybody else. In fact, their medical records show that she was not only not a threat, that she told him she wasn't suicidal, she wasn't homicidal, she wasn't threatening to harm anybody. And this was an educated woman who led a perfect life, and the judge dismissed the case. I mean, it was absolutely pathetic, and the judge was rightly pissed that the facility would file this case and that the state would prosecute it. But this is how easy it is to get stuck in Florida's mental health system. Imagine if they had not had the resources to go and hire private counsel. Imagine what would have happened. They would have kept her for another week, 2 weeks, a month, several months, so they could milk the insurance. And so, as I think I said in one other video that I posted many years ago, it only takes two things to get Baker Acted: a finger and someone to point it. And in this particular case, that finger was on the hand of the neighbor, and he pointed it at her. And then he got the police to come over and made up a BS story, and they took her, and they detained her. And unlike in a criminal case where at least you get to see a judge within 24 hours, nobody even knows you're there. So nobody knew she was there until we got hired on the case and we started filing things. And so I share this, and you can tell I was really red hot after this hearing. I was really pissed about this, and so was the judge. But this was not right, what happened here. And I was a prosecutor. And when I was a prosecutor, if I had a case that was BS, you know what I did? I dumped it. Because as a prosecutor, as the state, you're there to do justice, not necessarily convict everybody that happens to come in front of you. You're not there just to argue a case that's filed by a facility that should never have been filed. And so it's really easy to get stuck in Florida's mental health system for a significant period of time. So if you have a loved one who has been Baker Acted, you got to fight to get them out quickly. You run a terrible risk by not doing anything. Could you wait and they get out? I guess you could. Will they get out eventually? Probably. But how long do you want to leave them there? How long do you want to leave them there, right? Where people get physically, sexually abused, where they get medications forced on them, where they're not allowed to bathe, or they get given this horrendous garbage food that doesn't even agree with them. And God forbid they should have a gluten intolerance, or they there's certain foods they don't eat, like they don't eat meat, or whatever it happens to be. Good luck. You're going to starve in there. And so this is my plea to you. If you are a family, watch this video. Do not wait. At least call my team and find out what options are available to you. But do not let these facilities and the state of Florida dictate when your loved one comes home, especially when it's just somebody pointing a finger at them and there's zero evidence that they ever met Baker Act criteria. So with that said, I appreciate you bearing with me, tuning in. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.